In this tutorial in Photoshop Elements, we're going to look at how to take an image and slice it up into several pieces that you can then use to reassemble either in a graphics program or more likely in a video editing program. So I'm going to import an image. I'm in the expert mode in Photoshop Elements 2018. I'll click on File and then I'll do Open, or I can do Control O on the keyboard, and I'll double click on this icon here. I want to check on View and make it fit in on the screen, so I'll make sure I have that selected. And then what I want to do is I want to break it up into four rectangular pieces. To do that, I need to make sure I have my rulers on. Now these are on because of my last edit, but if yours aren't, simply click on the View menu and make sure you have the rulers checked, or you can use Shift-Control-R keyboard combination for rulers. Now with the rulers on, I need to bring some guidelines, and I'm going to cut it with. So all I need to do is move the mouse anywhere into my horizontal ruler at the top and drag down, position it where I want, and let it go. I change my mind on where I want it. I simply hold the Control key down and I can move it up or move it down any way I want. So we'll leave it about here for fun. Then on the horizontal ruler, the vertical ruler, I need to hold the Shift key down. And if I hold the Shift key and move it, that will give me the option of relocating it where I want. So we'll drop it right about there. That will give us four different segments we are going to break this picture up into. Now that I have my segments selected, I need to actually cut each of them out. So what I need to do is click on the rectangular marquee tool in my selection box. I'll drag it on the upper left corner. It will snap to the area and snap to the grid lines. And now I have it selected. Now I hold the Control key down and press the J key, J as in January. And notice what it does. It creates a new layer with that in the current position. It hasn't moved, it hasn't resized. The rest of the background's transparent. The next step is very important. You have to click again on your original background layer. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this for the upper right quadrant here. I just use the mouse, drag and drop, let it snap to the edge, let go. I do Control J again, and now that I created another layer that's my upper right layer. Again, I have to remember clicking on the background before I do this the third time. We'll select it again and do Control J, highlight the background layer, and now we select the last one and we do Control J again. And now we have our four layers. How do you export these into four images? Well, it's pretty simple. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn off every layer except for the upper left. And then I can do File, Save As, or Control-Shift-S, whatever I prefer. And then I need to give it a name. I'm going to save these as PNGs. And so I will call this Bridge. Oops. It took my B there. Okay, now we'll call it Bridge UL for upper left, and click on Save. And I'll say OK. Then we'll hide that layer, and we will make this layer 2 visible. And I'll do my Control-Shift-S. And we don't want to save it as a Photoshop document, but as a PNG. And then we will rename this Bridge Upper Right UR and save it. Click on OK, and we'll do the same thing with the next two. When you're all done, you'll be able to have four images, each layer exported into a separate file that you can use to assemble or reassemble in a graphics program or a video editing program. One thing that I'd like to remind you of is before you begin this process, if you want the final image to be a different size, a different scale than the one you have here, I'd encourage you to scale it down before you begin the process. That will make it easier when you use it in your other program. But that's all it takes to break an image into parts. If I go back into my file system, I'll click on File, Open. Here I have my 4 images: bridge upper left, upper right, lower left, and lower right, that assemble into a picture.